Good morning, guys. It is pretty early. It is like 5 a.m., but I'm sacrificing my only sleep in of the week to make a video for you guys. On the 7th of April, me and my coach calculated my running and cycling zones. So my running zones are here, and the reason why they're quite high compared to usual is because we found that my max heart rate is actually pretty ridiculously high, like 215 or 216. And then my power zones on the bike are there. Let's hop onto Garmin Connect and I'll show you some of my training over these last 3 weeks. So we go back to the 7th of April. This was the FTP test I did. So the FTP test is a 20-minute all-out effort, the average power you can hold. We click on it here. I didn't know it calculated my breath rate. What the hell? 206 during this test, which is insane for cycling. Holy. Oh yeah, so that test was used to help me work out my power zones on the bike, and then the treadmill test for running that wasn't recorded was used to calculate my max heart rate. Now we go on to April the 8th, where I begin this new form of training. Yeah, so first off, a zone 1 run. And I had to run so slow to hit zone 1, so it was 30-minute run at zone 1, which is below 155 heart rate, and 612 per kilometer. Like I just had to try and strictly stay at the right heart rate zone. Normally my heart rate isn't this high while running, but I think because it was the first week of the school holidays and I just had triathlon nationals, my mind, body and spirit was kind of wrecked. See, I was only just in zone 1. I even was struggling to hit zone 1 at the very beginning. Because I was like, what? I have to run this slow to hit zone 1? And then that same day I had a longer ride at a 72k ride at like zone 2, so like between 144 and 195 watts, but that's pretty free for me because that's what I usually ride at anyway, so I didn't really have to just look at the power the whole time. Yeah, so I was doing a lot of longer rides. Above 70k was pretty regular. I was in zone 3 at 5:13 pace. Like there was some hills, but yeah, I think my mind, body and spirit was just kind of wrecked. Yeah, I think I was just so tired, like on fatigue. Like I couldn't run faster than 5:25 pace or my heart rate would go above 172. Yeah, and this was flat as well. Like I'm like, what is going on? And my coach was confused as well. Another zone 1 run at 620 pace, and again, I'm only like just under that baseline zone 1 heart rate. 620 pace. Yeah, and I remember I encountered a hill during this run, and I had to walk up the hill to stay in zone 1. Oh, and I've been wearing my wrist heart rate monitor for all of these because my watch heart rate monitor is terrible. Oh yeah, and this was a zone 2 run in the hills, 5:48 pace. Because there was so many hills, my average heart rate was almost into zone 3, running 5:48 pace in the hills. I'm like, what? This is dumb. Yeah, I think my mind, body, and spirit were just wrecked because normally my heart rate is a lot lower at this pace. Yeah, so my coach said because my squad training, like it's for swimmers. I'm in a swim squad, not a triathlon squad. So a lot of the sessions they do is high intensity. My coach wanted me to go easy on 2 out of the 4 swims I do per week because he wants me to really build that aerobic capacity and not work the wrong energy system. And also, pushing too hard in swimming fatigues me for my other sessions as well. Yeah, so another swim with the squad. Average heart rate was 140, so I must have been going a bit easier for this one. So then on the same day I had, a zone 1 ride. And this was so annoying because against the headwind, I had to go so slow to stay below 144 watts, which was my zone 1 power. Yeah, I was having to ride at like 24k an hour to stay at below 144 watts. In my performance condition, like if it's a negative number, it means that you're like not feeling good for the pace at the pace you're going at compared to usual. Yet it's always in the negatives because my watch I haven't been running or cycling this slow for ages, so my watch doesn't really know how to determine how I feel, so it just assumes that if I'm going slower that I'm not feeling good. Yeah, another 2.5 hour ride, 72k's. Yeah, and I've realized I keep bonking on these rides. So I had a chat to my coach. I'm like, why do I keep bonking? And then I learned a lot about fueling on the bike, and that I definitely did not fuel enough. Like all I would bring was like a couple lollies and like a water bottle without even electrolytes. So, yeah, so that's why I was bonking. So I realized that I have to bring like for a 2.5 hour ride, I have to bring a full banana, like 2 bars, like a whole pack of lollies, and a bottle full of electrolytes. Like I'm like, what? Oh yeah, this was a dumb mistake, the ride I did on the April 18th. So I was bored of doing the same like kind of route, so I decided to go up French Pass instead of Tamira. And French Pass, it's steep. Yeah, so this is when I was going at French Pass, 350 watts. Yeah, look at my breath rate. So normally it was like in the 30s, and then when going up the hill, it was close to 50. So yeah, but then the run in the afternoon felt good, like zone 2, like I was able to dip under 5 minute pace and still be in zone 2. So yeah, the training is working. And then the following day I had another hour 15 run at zone 2, 5:06 pace, which is the best zone 2 of this training block in the hills. I had, oh yeah, and it was pouring with rain, so I had to do my long ride on Zwift. Yeah, the same day, zone 1 run, 5:50 pace, so still quite slow for zone 1, but better than 6 minute pace. And then the following day was a long run. Oh yeah, and this was a faster long run. Shout out to Louis and Casey in the audience. But yeah, so I decided to join them for a fast and hilly long run, because like I was just doing a lot of long and easy stuff. I wanted to challenge myself. I'm addicted to that feeling of accomplishment you get after doing something that's uncomfortable. So I wanted to challenge myself to keep up with Casey and Louis on this very hilly long run. This 281 meters. It's not wrong. It's not correct. It was actually like 350. Yeah, and my heart rate, it already got to 200 BPM. So yeah, successful long run. My fastest ever long run. Normally my long runs are always over 5 minute pace. Yeah, so Monday was a long aerobic day. 4 hours of training in one day. Then the following day was just another run at zone 2, but I guess I was pretty tired from 4 hours of training in one day, so I had to run at 5:13 pace to stay in the below 170 BPM. Yeah, so I just had a sort of easy ride and run. Oh yeah, this was school cycling. So yeah, so this was tough for me, because we did some efforts in a group, and because my group riding is still a work in progress, I had to push a lot harder, because when we get to here, like I'm regularly having spikes of like 400 watts of me just pushing to just keep up with the pack. Like it was tough. So yeah, it was definitely out of my comfort zone, but yeah, once again, the feeling of accomplishment was great. Yeah, and then yeah, I had to run off the bike and at zone 2, and oh my god, I had to run up 5:15 paces at zone 2, and I was on borderline zone 2. If I had been 1 BPM higher, I would have been in zone 3. So that's how tired I was after that school cycling session. Yeah, so then the next day is just another morning swim. Pretty casual. Yeah, I need that balance of hard and easy sessions, because if I just have the easy sessions, I find it really hard, because the easy sessions still they don't feel like a reward from the hard sessions. So then when you go into the easy sessions, they're like, oh, well, it's just an hour and a half of cycling. This is going to be boring. But then if you look at it after having done a hard session, you're like, oh yeah, I get to cruise on a 1.5 hour ride. This is going to be nice. So yeah, a long ride, 73k. Yeah, so I was fueling correctly in this ride, so I didn't bonk, which was really good. So yeah, and I just felt good like the whole way of this ride, even with some of the tough hills. So then the following day was a long run. I dipped into zone 3 a little bit, but I was just feeling really good. I don't know what my heart rate was on about. At this point, like 440 pace was feeling natural. Like I didn't feel like I have to slightly focus to run at 440 pace. Like it just came naturally. Easy bricks, so just easy hour of riding, then an easy 30 minutes of running. Yeah, so zone 1 was at 5:14 pace, which was really good. My average hour was 1:53 for 5:14 pace. Think about like 2 weeks ago, my pace per kilometer was a minute per kilometer slower, having to try and hit zone 1. So yeah, that means that my aerobic capacity is on the right track. Yeah, it's just a casual day. Then zone 2 was now under 5 minute pace, like in the hills as well. So yeah, that was really good. Like, yeah, that is a summary of what my training's been like these last 3 weeks. Hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, so race and training vlogs will continue, but there's nothing that's been that interesting going on. My next race will be a bike race in 2 weeks around Tamiro. So yeah, see you guys then.